Hi everyone, welcome to another video from the Positivity Boss channel. My name is Nika Malini, and on this channel we help entrepreneurs master their mindset so that they can live their best life and create the most impact that they can. So today we're chatting all about self-sabotage and taming the lower self and how you can stop self-sabotage, why you create self-sabotage in your life, and how you can work through that. So if this is a topic that is of interest to you, then make sure to continue watching.
So what is the lower self? So the lower self is that voice in our head that stops us from being our best self. So if you think about who you are and who you want to be, so you can think of some characteristics of who you want to be. Maybe that's a woman or man who is doing a certain thing in their career, who's acting a certain way, who has a certain level of confidence, who's able to maybe speak on stages or write a book or whatever your ambitions are. So that's your higher self. That's your ideal self. And then we have the lower self, and the lower self is basically all of our insecurities. The lower self is the person, hi Maria, the lower self is the person or the voice that's in our minds when we need to make an important phone call. And the voice will say, who are you to make this phone call? Like, who do you think you are? You're not qualified to do this. You're not capable of doing this. And it basically is trying to stop us from moving forward. So we all have certain days where we feel our lower selves are kicking in. Maybe we feel really overwhelmed by everything we have to do. We start to have our insecurities come up, and we start to have these voices come in our head which are telling us that we can't do this, that we're too tired, and it's also all the excuses that come up. So I can't do this today because X. And our lower self is just really trying to hold us back from growth, because what the lower self wants is for us to stay where we are. It doesn't want us to go out of our comfort zone. It doesn't want us to do anything scary because it feels threatened by the things, the outside world, and it feels threatened by moving forward and going to a new higher level of existence. And it really just wants to pull us down. Hi Deanna, hi everyone. And basically, the first step in taming the lower self, when it starts to come up, when you're doing something and you feel your insecurities are coming up and your lower self is coming up, is acknowledging that it's your lower self and that it's not your true self. Now what this means is, for example, you need to send an important email and you're just procrastinating on it. You're thinking that they're not going to read it, or that it's not going to go through, or you just have all of these doubts start to come in your mind. So the first step is to realize that that isn't who you are. That's your lower self talking. That's your lower self trying to bring you down and trying to stop you from growing and advancing and stepping outside of your comfort zone. And you acknowledge it, and you basically have to tell it to shut up. You have to say, I see that this is my lower self, and I know that that's not who I really am. I know that it's not reflective of my skills and talents, and I know that I can actually overcome this and actually do what I need to do. So that's the first step, is really when you're feeling down, or when you're feeling that you're having all of these voices in your head that are telling you that you can't do it, or that you're not capable, or that you're not good enough in any way, you need to acknowledge that this is your lower self, and this is natural when you're trying to grow, when you're actually making leaps and bounds towards your dreams, and when you're really pushing yourself forward and trying to get to the next level, that your lower self is naturally going to want to pull you down into your comfort zone. It's going to want to keep you from really growing, and that's basically a form of self-sabotage. Self-sabotage is procrastinating on knowing what you have to do to get better. It's not reaching out for help. It's not taking action. It's basically just not doing what you need to do to get to the next level, and that's what the lower self makes us do, basically. So aside from acknowledging the lower self, what is it that we can do in order to help it shut up? So aside from acknowledging it, what you have to do is work on your self-image. Now, there's this great quote that my mentor Dan Locke says, which is, you can never outperform your self-image. So if your self-image, hi Jessica, if your self-image is of someone that can only make a certain amount of money per month, if your self-image is of someone that weighs a certain amount, if your self-image is of someone who can only grow their business to a certain amount, then you're not going to grow beyond that. It's just yourself, like who you are, just can't comprehend going above that. So you have to alter your self-image. You have to think as if you're already your higher self. So what I like to do is every morning and night and middle of the day, I read out the statement of who I'm trying to be. So I am trying to impact 100,000 young women through my content. And you have to write in a way that it has already happened. So for example, I'm so happy and grateful that I impact 100,000 young women through my YouTube channel. So that is your higher self. That's where you want to be. So what you do is you have your whole paragraph or your whole story of your higher self and the greater person that you're trying to become. And your why for this has to be really strong. So why is it that you're trying to get to these goals and you're trying to become this better person? I know that there's a deeper reason inside of you that you want that. Maybe you want to help your family, maybe you want to impact the world, right? So you go and you read your higher self and you read the vision that you wrote yourself every single day, every night, throughout the day. Whenever you feel your lower self kicking in, I want you to go and read the statement of who you are as your higher self.
So if you struggle with self-sabotage though, and you're trying to build a business, you're trying to create something in the world, and you're finding that every time you go to work on it, you feel scared, you feel like maybe I'm not meant to do this, maybe I'm not good enough to do this, who am I to do this? And you're feeling like you're kind of sabotaging yourself and holding yourself back. I have this program called Entrepreneur Mindset Mastery, which is a 6-week program that's going to actually take you through working through why it is that you sabotage yourself, releasing shame and guilt, and actually stepping into that best version of yourself and removing all the blockages that have been holding you back and causing self-sabotage. So if that is of interest to you, make sure to check out the application form in the description box so we can see if you're a good fit for the program. And I will see you in the video. Enjoy.